Alright, I'm going to use some weld-through primer on the back side where I took that galvanized material off on these spot welds. Okay, this piece fits down over that door sill in the bottom. So I'm cutting this whole deteriorated edge off here, and we're just going to weld the floor directly to this instead of putting holes in this, spot welds in this piece. Okay, on the inside here where I wasn't able to get it totally down to bare metal, I'm going to use the rusty metal primer, which is a rust converter. Okay, I just cut out this piece here. I'm going to refabricate that into a new metal. It totally wasn't attached to the body here, so it just makes it easier to make it all one piece. Okay, I went ahead and unbolted this bracket up in here. So I'm going to get all the rust off this thing. Do a little rust repair on the bottom. I've been cleaning all this stuff out with the wire wheel and this drill going up all in here, getting that all cleaned out. So with that bracket out of there, I'm going to clean all of this out. I'll hit all that up in there with some rusty metal primer, and then I could start welding on the new pieces here. Okay, I'm spraying this area with metal prep. It's like an acid, and that's going to convert all that rust. I'm also going to go up inside and get all this area behind this metal here. Okay, it comes time where I need to bend this these long pieces of metal. So I've got away without needing this so far, but I went ahead and spent some money on a bending brake. So this should help me bend some of these longer pieces. Okay, I got this brake mounted down to this bench, and tried bending up this piece last night, and it wasn't bending. The whole piece would just slide down. I had 2 clamps on it, so I might try bending it again, bending something else with like 4 or 5 clamps. Maybe that would help. But this is probably going to go back to the store if I can't get it to work. What I ended up doing was just putting it in the vise, using a hammer, and just using that hammer to bend it. So I got this piece made. I drilled some holes in it. So this is going to fit in here. It's going to weld up to there. And that's just an extension of that channel right there. And that'll give me a base to build the rest of that. So that's where I'm at right now. Okay, I'm working on this rear window bracket. This whole piece here got rusted out. So I made this little piece and weld that in right there. And then weld another piece in between. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, I got this piece here fabricated and welded on there. I'm going to do this middle part next. Right there. Okay, I got this bracket fixed. Okay, I'm getting ready to weld this little piece in right here. I'm using my butt welding clamps. So I'm going to have to form another piece on the side later right here, but for now this will let me build this part here. So I'm going to go ahead with that. Okay, yesterday I went through the wire wheel and got most of the rust out of this inner cavity here where this window goes. I just hit it up with a bunch of rusty metal primer, which is a rust converter. And I'm going to hit this area with some weld through primer where I'm going to be welding. Okay, originally from the factory, there was this box structure that sat inside here, and then the actual sheet metal of the car was stamped so that it formed that shape that matched the rocker panel curve right here. Formed that shape, and then it welded to here. But on our replacement panels, we don't have that shape at the bottom. It just kind of goes straight down. So when you order new rocker panels, this is the new rocker panel. These rocker panels extend all the way back to here. But what the body guy did was he cut this rocker panel short so that it only goes to here. And then he threw away all this material of this rocker panel from here to here. So I'm trying to explain to him that we needed that rocker panel shape so that it matches. He thinks he's going to bend that rocker panel shape into this bottom piece, which you really can't do because, I mean, if you cut it all up, you might be able to try to match it, but it's never going to match. Because that's kind of a complex shape, and it has to be exactly, there's like a sharp bend here, and it's flat here, and then there's curves here. You're never going to be able to bend that so that it looks right. So what, and when you look at this, this would have fit exactly right in here, so that I could have, see, that would have fit right up to there, like that. And then the bracket thing would have mounted right to here. And that's exactly what we needed. But this body guy insists that he's got 53 years of experience and that I don't know what I'm talking about, and that we have to bend this piece. And I'm like, no. So we're having a bit of a debate and a discussion, and I'm kind of questioning his judgment on things. I mean, so far I've paid him like $1,500, and all I've really got out of him was some cuts. He made these cuts here, he made those cuts over there, and he made the cut here. But other than that, he hasn't done, that's all he's done, was done some cuts. He hasn't fabricated any metal, hasn't done any welding. And anytime we have a debate, he just goes back to saying that he's got 53 years experience, and I'm going to put something together that he's just going to have to tear apart and all this stuff. So I think we might have to, if he can't give me a good answer on this, I'm going to have to just get rid of him. Alright, so I called Jim just now to see if he could explain to me why he thinks we don't need this piece that went all the way back that he cut off. And he started telling me he knows what he's doing, and I'm trying to take over now, and he got real offended and said, you know, he's busy and all this stuff. And I said, well, I want to call you to give you a chance so that we can discuss this. And he pretty much just hung up, so I guess we're done with him. I really think he was just, he made a mistake, he wouldn't admit it. That's exactly how that's supposed to go. That rocker panel is supposed to extend all the way back to here. And then what you do is you cut this to about here, and then you just form that end piece. We're not going to form this whole piece along here. That's not going to work, because that shape is too hard to make unless you got a radial bender. And not only that, I need all this shape up here to weld to here. So I need this shape and I need this shape. Why would I try to fabricate all that from scratch when I had just bought the piece? It doesn't make any sense. So screw that. I'm on my own. Okay, I'm working on putting this inner rocker panel piece in that extends all the way up there. This area here is rusted all out, so before I do that, I'm going to have to form some metal to go in there. I'm going to go ahead and make this shape right here, this channel, have that extend to about here, and then make some new metal happen back there so I can weld to it. So next step is to shape this piece. Okay, I got this piece in here welded, and it's going to provide some support now. And I can get this inner rocker fitted in there next. Alright, so yeah, once I got these 3 clamps on here, you clamp the piece underneath this heavy piece, and then you clamp that heavy piece over your material, and you bend it like that. So it did finally start working for me. I was actually going to buy one of these a few months ago when Jim started. I was talking to him about it. Jim kept telling me, "Oh, you're wasting your money. He's like, you just like to throw your money away and all this stuff." So I was like, oh, okay, I won't buy one. But, you know, this is my project. You know, I was doing just fine for many months before he came along. Then suddenly I'm being told that I can't even, you know, or being told I'm stupid for spending money, a little bit of money on a $60 tool. You know, and going and arguing with him about it, and him telling me how dumb it is. The other one said I was stupid for buying was the drill press. Alright, he wanted me to come in and drill a whole bunch of holes along these sheep. I must have drilled 100 holes by now. And he wants me to sit there with a hand drill and try and drill holes like that. You can't drill all those holes with a hand drill. I mean, that was like the biggest necessity of all, and he's trying to tell me that I shouldn't be spending money on it. So, like, it was those kind of conversations that started planting the seeds of doubt that this guy really doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. He just wants me to pay all my money to him and skimp out on tools, and he's just going to keep stringing me along as far as possible and never getting anything done. So don't let people do that to you guys. Take control of your own projects. If you need to pay for a little bit of help, get some advice, do it. But don't expect anyone else to be looking out for your own best interests. Okay, so where these holes are, I'm going to be welding to this flat metal here. And I'm using weld-through primer. And this was another issue that we had a huge argument, disagreement over with Jim. I told him I wanted to use weld-through primer in those areas where we're going to be welding flat metal together. And he's like, no, you don't need to do that. He just wanted to, you know, weld the bare metal straight to each other so it can rust. You know, he's like, oh, you'll never see it. It'll last 60 years. And, and I'm like, no, I would just feel better if I had, you know, a little bit of weld-through primer in there so no moisture gets up in there. And no, he wasn't having it. You know, I was real stupid for wanting to put primer on there. At the end of the day, I said, you know what? I would just feel better if I did it. You know, so I went ahead and ordered it, and of course, you know, I was stupid for that. Okay, I got the car jacked up here again so that the gaps on this door looks pretty good. That's the height I want to be at to make sure my floors come up to that high. So I'm going to leave that jacked up and start welding these inner rockers with that. You know, it's not really rocket science. You don't need somebody to hold you over a barrel because, you know, they think that you don't know how to do something. Everything is easy. You just take it one step at a time, figure it out. Alright, I went ahead and ordered another rocker panel off eBay to replace the one that Jim ruined. He cut it in half. I mean, I could have still used it if he had saved the other half, but he started cutting it up into smaller parts and just destroyed it, so it's gone now. So anyway, there's no way you can shape that part. I looked at it. It's not just one solid curve. It goes curved and then it goes straight, and then there's another straight 90-degree, and then there's a bunch of 90-degree bends at the top, and it's, you know, it's shaped perfectly to fit. There's no way you can homemade that and make that fit and look good. So anyway, I got that part coming.
Hey, don't think you got the gold key to the crapper. Nobody takes advantage of me, understand?
Yeah.
If it wasn't for me, it cost you a whole shit pile full of dough to put this heap together.
I know. I know.
Mm.